All right, welcome back. So let's do some reactions. Let's have some reaction. So my wife sent me this video earlier. I've seen that video before in its full entirety actually, but she talked about the comment section. I wanted to review the session. I'll play the video and I'll review the comment section, and then let's have a conversation around this. This is the whole thing about the divorce court, custody courts, custody battles everywhere. It gets nasty. It gets, and then yet we have people literally looking for unrealistic expectations. So it's the story of Anthony Anderson. Yeah, that's his name, Anthony Anderson. I think so. Yeah, and the caption on this TikTok video says, let's see, the caption says, "This is why marriage continues to fail in 2023. He must pay her millions for forever." So let's first of all address the caption. Let's address the caption. Let me make sure my audio is working. All right, it is. All right. "This is why marriage continues to fail in 2023. He must pay her millions forever." This is the same conversation, right? People don't go into marriage thinking about the millions that's going to be paid forever. They just don't. If they started, it's your fault because you keep talking about it, and anything you focus on expands. Okay? If they started thinking about the millions before they go into marriage, it's now your fault. Okay? So I'm not even discounting that anymore. It is now your fault. You're the one sowing those seeds in people's head, and people are going into marriage thinking, well, let me make sure just in case it doesn't work. Let me make sure there's millions of dollars here that we can share. The other conversation was about somebody asking for six figure, which usually means there's no money to share, because 51% of Americans as we speak right now, I know because I do studies around this, okay? 51% of Americans making six figures are living paycheck to paycheck as we speak right now. Let that sink. So there's no asset to share. So the other person, the person wants a six figure, right? It's actually nothing. Okay. Well, majority of people. Somebody said majority of people. Somebody is, policeman, firefighter. All these people are not making six figure. Baba, that's why the national debt is heavy. Okay. That's why the money is not hard enough for everyone. So you're still not saying nothing. The bottom line is a woman who has figured out how to make $125,000 a year, right? It makes sense to me. It's more realistic for me to assume she's thinking she needs someone that makes that or more. That is, okay, not common sense, but that's just the reality. That's just the reality, right? It just makes sense. That's the reality you're trying to avoid. That women are hypogamous, rather, right? They marry up, they date up. That's the reality. It's not something that's intentional. It's just the divine order of things. And when you argue with divine order of things, you collect now. What do you expect? Right? If you argue with divine, another way of thinking about it is nature. You argue with nature, you collect. It doesn't matter if you're a man or you're a woman. If you argue with nature, you will collect. So this idea that women just wake up and they want to date something making more money than them, it's not an intentional something. No, it's not. Right? It's not. That's why when they force it, yeah, a quality partner, when they force it into reality because they've been reading too much books, it backfires. All right, and it's possible to make it work. You just need to have some skills. Okay. D-Love, how far are you there? You on vacation? Good to know. I'm glad you went on vacation. You need that sometimes. Yeah, we miss you. Good to see you. All right. So that's this. So even if you look at that caption right there already, this is why marriage continues to fail. He must pay her millions forever. Tell us the rest of your story. Okay, but they're about to tell us the rest of the story. But that caption is coming from a certain type of mindset, and that mindset will not help make things better. That's the mindset that's designed to shame people into submission. It never works. Submission is an organic thing. It's an organic thing. You don't force it. It's either you earn it or it doesn't happen. That's just the way it works. That's the reality. And you can't argue with me on that. You can just look around you. You can see it. Okay? Every time you ask for submission, you collect. Just like that. Let's play this video.
In order to pay his wife $4 million. He had to give up assets and was also ordered to pay.
He was ordered to pay his wife $4 million, give up assets.
$20,000 to $40,000 per month in alimony. In a minute, I'll explain why the alimony payment will be $20,000 or $40,000. But he married his wife Alvina back in 1999. She first filed for divorce in 2015. She tried to cash out when he got his role on Blackish. It was a very popular show that paid him very, very well. Anthony Anderson had finally landed a good gig. Somehow, he was able to talk Alvina back into the marriage, but that didn't work out long term because it was already in her heart to leave. He should have let her go the first time because she came back in 2022 and filed for divorce again. This time he had more money than before.
People come back and file for divorce after separation for the reasons we mentioned yesterday. Only 13% after separation makes it. Does that mean people should not do separation? Let's talk about the stats I keep talking about, right? No, it doesn't mean that. Sometimes that's the most. In fact, oftentimes that's what you need to do. Back off from that person. Okay, back off from that relationship if it's funky and toxic. That's what you need to do. But if you're aware of these stats, you know the odds are against you. If your desire is to find your way back at some point, then you know that it's really important that you work on yourself and learn the skills that you need to learn so you can attract the kind of love and relationship you're looking for. That's really what that means. That stat is not designed to be used to shame people into a stupid submission that will never work. So maybe that's what they tried. We know that second, third marriages have a 75% higher chances. What do you do with that stat? I can't use that stat to discourage you to get married again. You can only use that stat to say, hey, the odds are against me, so I better know what I am doing before I try this again, right? I better make sure I go through healing, necessary healing before but most people are coconut-head. They don't do that, right? They're stubborn. They don't do that. They try it again because they think it's supposed to be automatic, right? When it comes to a long-term relationship, it's not automatic. Attraction needs to be organic. But when it comes to over the long run, long game, you need to have some skills. You need to have skills, and most people don't acquire the right skills, or they try, but emotions no be your mate, right? They get caught up in their emotions. Every time they create a damage, they have to start from ground zero again. That's the way it works because it's emotional. Imaginations is beyond, right? There's no limitations to it, right? So if a person makes up 200 movies in their head on what they think is terrible about this marriage, it's going to take everything to stop them from thinking that. Sometimes they think they need a new person entirely to stop that, and then they collect too, right? Because you are you. Your shadow follow you everywhere you go. Right? Let's continue here.
And now those alimony payments are set at a higher amount. So although he will never be with this woman again, he's basically going to be paying her alimony in California, by the way, forever. Either nearly $250,000 per year, $240,000, or nearly $500,000 per year, $480,000.
All right, so that doesn't sound realistic. I don't know if that's possible, that you have to pay alimony for the rest of your life. I don't know how that works. If it's realistic, I'm sure it will make sense to me when I read everything that goes into that, right? But it doesn't sound realistic, but I know they are notorious in California for some crazy kind of settlements like that. It could be a settlement, but there's more story to it. If he has to pay alimony that much money for the rest of his life, there's more to that story than, oh, this is why marriages are ending. No, there's more to it, okay? Either she has some kind of stake or something is there. Maybe it's emotional stake. Maybe, oh, wait, emotional stake? What the hell is that? I know. But hey, listen, once you find yourself in this situation, the reality is that same rule is true for everybody else in California. So you need to learn how to move. And sometimes it just doesn't work out, right? Some people claim this is why Will Smith will not divorce Jada, because he stands to lose a lot of money because it's California. Cap. Rich people especially have a way around this stuff all the time. If it looks crazy to you, it's probably because they are getting away with something, and you just normal person, you don't know anything, you don't know how it works, so you're just like, ouch, I can't believe this is happening, this is evil, women are evil everywhere. Bro, you had your own preconceived notion, you had your own issues, and that's probably what we should be talking about, and not talking about this man's $500,000 that he might have to pay for the rest of his life. I doubt if that's actually true without some extra stories to it. All right, but they paint it like it's just the absolute story and they must be evil. That's how they paint it, right? But I don't care. It doesn't matter. This is not your story, right? And you're probably going to use this to hurt yourself. Let's continue.
I'll get into the details, but first, take a second to make sure that you're subscribed to the channel and click the notification bell for all updates. It was obvious Anthony and Alvina's marriage was in trouble back in 2014-2015. His wife filed for divorce after he got his biggest career boost with ABC. She was ready to run out of there with the bag then. She filed in 2015, but then dropped it in 2017, telling the judge they worked out their issues and got back together.
That is a real thing. People do actually try to get back together. They do. And some work out. Majority of the time, because of people's coconut head, it might not work out. We know again, separation 87% of the time. I don't know my source, but I saw it somewhere, right? But that makes sense to me. It doesn't work out because once people decide they're going their way, they're going their way. Not just because they decide they're going their way. Something happened. There were some damages that is not necessarily anybody's, like any one particular side's fault. When you hear your rhetorics, and oftentimes also often pushed against one side, you are probably a liar. You're not telling us the rest of your story. Okay? Let's continue.
Anthony begged her to stay so she wouldn't run off and take all his money. Then by the time he was done with Blackish and they wrapped up the series on ABC after 8 seasons.
All right, so you get the gist. The caption is wrong. The rhetoric here is probably wrong. It's just one-sided at best. But let's look at the comments. The comment is why my wife sent it to me. She said the comment section is wild. And she knows that. She says, wow, let's go into it. Anyway, this person said, this is crazy. Don't get married. Wow. You already are having a hard time getting married. Why are you lying to yourself like this? You're a liar. There's a guy in the manosphere that's always say you're a liar.
Why the fuck you lying?
You're a liar. That's why you come leave this comment. This comment have backstories and it has nothing to do with Anthony Anderson. All right. Don't get married. Wow. You're already, not that you don't want to get married. You're already having a difficult time getting married. That's why you talk like that. Yes, that is an absolute. Okay. If the celebrities haven't learned their lesson by now, I have no sympathy for them. Prenuptial. What do we know about Tyrese? What do we know about Tyrese? Okay. In fact, I think we should bring Tyrese up on the next story. Okay. We should bring Tyrese up on the next story. Wait, what's going on here? Let's make sure that am I live? Can you guys hear me? Okay. So speaking of, let me see something here. Hold on one second. Pardon me. Okay. Just pardon me right there. Okay. We're gonna talk. I'm gonna play this video next as usual. There's always something we can play here. Let me see. There you go. I found it. Just want to get this video off of my phone into the book so we can continue, right? Okay, found it. Great. Let's get back to the business. All right, let's get back to the comments. All right, so very quickly, I needed to do that. All right, so let's see. This person, hold on, let me show my face back. All right, there you go. Ojula if the celebrities haven't learned their lesson by now, I have no sympathy for them. Prenuptial can be cracked. Okay, it can be cracked. Okay, and manipulative people will try to crack your prenuptial agreement. It's just what it is, right? But also, prenuptial, if it's not fair enough, if they can claim that it was drawn and designed, yes, now you know what I'm going to do, right? If it's claimed and designed, and people can claim that it was under duress, they can crack it. But that's not fair. Listen, they can crack it for anyone. That makes it fair. If they can crack it across the board, that makes it fair. Oh, but it's only in some states. The same thing we're talking about. You know how many people is in each state? If they can crack it, it's fair. That means they are deeming it that it's not fair the way it was drawn up. And that's just how life works. Well, wait until it happens to you, Ola. When it happens to me, I am in a better position to handle it than you, because you have unrealistic expectations of life. Right? God forbid I have to deal with that, because I do everything in my power to make sure it doesn't happen to me. But you're like, oh well, just have prenuptial, or no, just avoid marriage altogether. But you still collect, because at the end of the day, you're dealing with human beings. You're having sex everywhere. Once you have sex with people, it's no longer fair. Okay, you can play fair within each other, that's fine, but usually it's easier. The point is that it's easier when you're on the same page, and it gets more difficult when you're not on the same page, right? If you don't have what I just said as a part of your skill set, you collect now. What do you Yep. So the comment says, it is not cheaper to keep her because you can't put a price on peace. That's a good point. Some people say it's cheaper to keep her. No, it is not cheaper to keep her. So when you're measuring numbers, $240,000, from what perspective are you measuring that number? From your own standpoint, you don't know what kind of peace of mind this man is literally getting to keep. You have no idea. Let's see. Are we still here? Why am I seeing something else? Interesting. Let's get back here. Am I live? Can you guys see me? Am I still live? Am I still live? Yes, we are. Okay. My monitor here is acting like it literally went to another video. I could see your chat, but went to another weird video like that. Let me see. I just want to make sure that we're monitoring the live stream. Hit that like button. We're missing about 4 likes. Hit that like button. Thank you. Great. Hit that like button. All right, so no, it is not necessarily cheaper to keep her. That's a stupid talking point as usual. Okay, it depends on who is saying that. Like, if you keep a situation that's why, just stay there and endure. Like, no, that's stupid. You don't know what they're enduring. You don't know exactly what they're enduring, so you can't say that. Okay, the only thing you can work on is teach more people some kind of value across the board. And if we like the idea of family unit, we need to come up with something better than what was. We clearly didn't work, because that's why it fell apart. Because if it worked, it won't fall apart. I still believe in family unit, but the way it was done did not work. Okay, from the look of things, it looks like it was more skewed to one side than the other. That's why it didn't work. Okay, so the same fairness you're looking for, the way you're measuring it is off. Could make sense. Could make sense to somebody's side. Right? That man should have incorporated his artist name, slowly moved his money and his property into a trust, and played broke personally. That's stupid. Again, we're talking about peace of mind. What kind of peace of mind do you have inside of marriage where you're moving your money around into incorporations and artist name and trust and all this kind of stupid stuff? That's stupid. If you have to hide your money, this usually means there's no peace of mind involved in that. I don't know what you expect to generate from that in terms of results in life, right? But what about these women that are taking your money? Well, how about, let's start all the way from, how did you choose this woman? Okay, after you choose the woman, how do you play? How did you play inside of that marriage, right? What is your role? Have you held yourself accountable? Or you're just exonerated, you didn't do anything wrong, right? You just knew everything there is to know because you had common sense. And she's got to a point, she decided to leave. And you're like, well, I didn't cheat. Why should she leave? Well, if you're asking this type of stupid question, it is no wonder why you feel like the best solution is to run around and think you can lock money up in trust. And we can't find it. They will find it if there's enough interest in that money. If that money has enough interest in it for you to be locking it away, somebody has enough interest in it, they will come and find it. And they will crack the code and they will find it. That's why we have cyber securities and all this kind of stuff. Hold on 1 second. Tifa, be quiet, okay? Okay? Thank you. I thought I muted, but clearly you guys heard that. I only turned off the camera. It's cool. All right. All right. So, again, these are tactics that will never work in real life. They sound good on TikTok or on paper, right? I have another person here say, just sign a prenup before getting married. That doesn't protect you. It only protects you financially. Should you do prenup? Absolutely. But I want you to be aware that it doesn't protect you outside of finances. Okay? That heartbreak that's chopping you up right now, that breakfast where you chop, that's making you come up with stupid limited solutions, right? You go still chop and collect because you will protect that money. You will still. So Ola, what's the answer? I am glad you asked. Okay? The reason why marriages are failing in 2023, let me just tell you so we can move on to the other story. I'm looking at somebody. Let me read this before I continue. I'll give you a solution. Somebody said, I'll never get married under US courts. You couldn't get married already. That's why you're talking like that. You're having a hard time getting married already, and we couldn't blame that on US court, but you're looking for one nice thing that you can blame. Something that's so easy. Let's blame it on US courts. Who's going to tell you the truth? It's only me that will tell you the truth. Right? I didn't tell you if it's a man or woman that said that. On both sides, people say it's stupid stuff like that. You couldn't get married before. That's why. Okay? And the truth is that there are solutions to that. There are ways to change that if that's what you change. One of the ways to change it is not to blame it on US courts. Okay? That's now one of the ways. Okay. Let me read one more comment. This person said, marriage is a joke because it's too much to lose if you all divorce. I can't really disagree with that. That sounds like a personal experience. So here's it, okay? The reason why marriages are failing it's not because people will take millions from you. Most of you don't have millions. That's the reality. Okay? It's not a shamey thing. It's just a reality. Most of you don't have millions. Okay? The reason is because you're a narcissist. More likely. Right? The other reason is because you are expecting human beings to be God. And the last reason is because you don't know shit. You don't. That's the reason. Those are the reasons right there. And worse, you refuse to learn because you think some kind of common sense ideology is the answer. That's probably more like it. Okay, low skills, but coconut head with skills is just a bad idea. Coconut head is the old thing with you think man is supposed to be God and being a narcissist. That's what that is. I'm just using colorful language. It really comes down to mismanaged pride, mismanaged expectations, and lack of game. That's what it comes down to. Okay. All right. Now, before I move on, you guys are saying, let me see. Okay. No. Well, let me talk about that on the next segment. Let me talk about that on the next segment. Let me talk about that on the next segment. Okay. All right. Great. So, I'll be right back.
It's your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Make love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.